hopefully this is going to become a semi-regular little piece that we're going to be putting out every few weeks or so, where we interview some of our clients and people that we like to work with. And today I'm happy to say that we're joined by artist Helen Wiseman. Hi, Helen.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
How's things? All right? Everything good? I have to explain as well that we are actually recording this during the infamous lockdown. So if you're watching this in 2 or 3 years' time, that's why we've all got strange hair and look unshaven and want to get out.
Yeah.
So how's things with you? All good?
Yeah, all good. Yeah, life's not really changed because as an artist, you work by yourself most of the time in a kind of semi-lockdown way anyway.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's sort of all right actually. It's fine apart from I've just got extra bodies at home. That's it.
Yeah, that's true. People to get in your way while you're trying to create.
Yeah, but I'm very lucky. I have my studio, which is a good walk from the house. So, and the fridge and the wine fridge. So it's
all temptations out of the way.
Yeah. So yeah. So I feel like I go to work still. So it's fine.
Yeah,
it's
good.
it's
That's
kind
good.
of normal.
Yeah, good. So yeah, down to the nitty gritty then. So obviously, I don't know. I haven't got a clue how long you've been an artist and how long you've been doing what you do. But when did you actually realise? Were you a child when you realised that you wanted to be an artist, or?
Yep. Yes. Right. But my mum's very arty. So right from very little, she encouraged me all the time. She's been a watercolor artist, and it's always what I wanted to do. And even when I was doing my GCSEs, I wanted to be an illustrator. And I was very lucky being in the school that I was in. Well, when you join the sixth form, they got in artists in residence. It was a boarding school. I didn't board, but so they for me specifically, they got in an illustrator, and so she was very encouraging, and I went to exhibitions with her, and then I got to meet Quentin Blake when I was doing my A-level dissertation.
Very nice too.
Yeah. So I kind of knew. I've always known what I wanted to do. I haven't had any. I don't know. No, I've been very single-minded. That's it.
Yeah, focused. Good.
That's what I want to do. Yeah.
It's paid off, obviously.
It's sort of fun like that. I always wanted to be a children's book illustrator, and that's what I studied at university. But I've kind of gone in card design, really, and which I really enjoy.
Yeah.
I much prefer that than I'm more sort of design, I would say now, than children's illustrator. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you say you went to university to study art, and which university did you go to?
I went down to Falmouth in Cornwall, which it's just amazing. It's just very inspirational, and I'm still in touch with a lot of my colleagues that were there. You know, some are doing really, really well still, and it was lovely experience. A little bubble in Cornwall, really, but we had many sort of experiences. We were taken to New York to show our portfolios to lots of people, and London in our third year, and they had lots of sort of industry people down, and it was very. But back then, I left there in 1998, and the world is a completely different place now. It's very much technical, whereas you know, back then everything was hand done, which is how I still work. So I don't use, as you know.
No, absolutely,
no Photoshop, although I have just got Procreate, but I'm too scared to use it. So
you just have to launch yourself in, and that's the perfect time. You're sitting there, you know, time in your hands.
Yeah.
Jump in.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. I'm just sort of looking at it and going, no, I'll just.
No. Well, you don't know until you try these things, though, do you?
No, exactly. Yeah.
So I suppose, obviously, back then, you literally had to, if you were trying to sell art, you literally had to take it around and like to galleries to try and get them to display. Obviously, you didn't have a website and that kind of thing 88. So you were kind of like launched out into the world. Trying,
98. I'm not that old.
Sorry, 98. Sorry, I didn't make you older than you are. Sorry.
I know it's the lighting. Yeah. Yeah, you had to have our sole purpose at the end of university was to get an agent, and that's how illustrators worked. It was to have an agent, and I did get one, and I don't know. It's a very different place. It's a completely different world now. Completely different.
Yeah.
And having come back into it, sort of, I don't know, 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like I was a bit of a I felt like a complete novice.
Right.
Almost learn again how to operate in the industry. It was
yeah. Which is obviously
trial.
I mean, obviously you do a lot of art fairs and art fair type things. And I know that you threw yourself at doing the spring fair up in Birmingham, which must have been a massive
that was my
chance.
Well, I did before that. I did the British Craft Trade Fair sort of a couple of years before that.
Okay.
Which was my first sort of foray into trade. And I just got it completely wrong, just like completely wrong.
Right.
Because when you're selling to trade, so to shops and to industry, as it were, rather than to public that like your work, you have to sell yourself twice. You have to convince them that people are going to like you.
Yeah.
And I just assumed that everyone would like me. Why not?
And why not? Exactly. What's not to like?
It doesn't work that way. It really doesn't. You have to do hard selling, which I'm not very good at, but I've got better.
Right. Okay.
So I had a couple of years off of sort of licking my wounds and wondering how I'm going to do this. So that spring fair was the first. I'd say that's when I started.
Yeah. So you obviously prepared yourself differently for spring fair to the earlier fair then.
Completely. I went up and investigated how people did it. I went to a seminar on how to have an exhibition, what to say, how to have a conversation, which sounds really ridiculous, but that it really helps. Talking to people that have done it a million times before, getting top tips. I mean, you can't beat just doing it, jumping in. But,
No.
I think, and I did it in the way, so I was in a debut area where people like me who hadn't done one before or hadn't done a trade fair before, you were supported and you had this really great package. And because there's all little things like when you have a stand, it's, paying for lighting. If you don't have lighting, no one literally is going to see you.
No.
So,
yeah.
So it's all those.
So many things to think about that you wouldn't consider if you'd been in there and done it yourself.
Yeah. And you do have to sell a couple of kidneys, I'm afraid.
Ouch. But it was a success for you, the spring fair.
It was very successful. The only thing is, if you can't just do one and then expect it to be amazeballs. You have to follow up. So you have to. People like to see you a couple of times. So I saw I saw the bloke that owned Scribbler at the spring fair.
Okay.
I didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
And he really liked my work, but they need to see you like it was the fourth fair down the line.
Oh wow.
That I actually got an order from them.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
That's the thing that you kind of you have to when you start something like that, you have to realise that you're in it for the long haul. You can't be a one-hit wonder.
Yeah, nobody's going to come up to see you for 5 minutes and put in an order for 15,000 cards or something like that. It just doesn't happen. Is the case. It's the same.
Sometimes it does.
Yeah, if you're there's the odd occasion. But I mean,
I do know a few people that has happened to, and they're in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
right person. But then if you're not there, you won't get seen.
No, exactly.
So you have to.
You have to kind of like, you have to bite the bullet, take that chance, spend the money, and plough your time and effort into it to make it pay. I mean, you know,
Yep.
nobody. There's not very many overnight successes out there, are there? You know, overnight successes
No,
about 6 or 7 years.
No, exactly. And people make it look easy, and it's really it's not. It takes a lot of
hard work,
hard graft.
Yeah.
And a lot of support from family.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Really does. It really does. Yeah.
Of course it does. But now, hopefully, you're obviously seeing the rewards for the time and effort that you did put in, especially with Scribbler and that kind of thing.
Yes, yeah. I mean, Scribbler's not massive, but I have just recently got an agent in Italy, a licensing agent. So
okay.
I'm that's my next port of call. I'm not going to Italy, not yet.
No.
I'd like to get a licensing agent here in the UK. Okay. So hence I'm having a new website done to make me look more professional and you know, on trend, all that kind of thing. To look like you mean it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I can
know what you're talking
paint
about.
you a lovely picture, but you know, I have to look the part. It's really hard. I find that really hard.
So what about the actual sort of creating of the art itself? I mean, do you find that you have to be in a certain frame of mind, or can you go into a studio any given day and know that you can turn out your art, or do you literally have to say that today it's not going to happen?
Sometimes I get it, today is not going to happen. Everything I touch just goes to complete and utter, like I have to just shut the door and just go and have a cup of tea and clean the house or something, do something else. It just, no, I don't clean the house. No, that's a lie. Sit in the garden. That's what I do. Sometimes, you know, I think about art and what I'm going to do all the time.
Right. Okay.
All the time. Yeah. Even if I'm, you know, just looking out the window, thinking, "Oh God, what have I got to do today?" You know, I'll have an idea in my head, and I now have I'll show you. I now have a little blackboard. I don't know if you can see that.
Okay.
That I write my ideas on, because they only stay in my head for a minute, and then they're gone and replaced with some other trivial rubbish. So I have to write things down. Whether I do it there and then is a different matter, but I'll come back to it. And sometimes I just sit, you know, sometimes I sit there and something will spring in my head and I'll do it, and it turns into something else, and that is, you know, it just if you don't sit down and do it, you won't do anything.
No, that's true. I mean, you can always tear it up, throw it away, and get on with another one.
Yes, if it doesn't work, just
put it down to experience.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. I have a drawers full of experiences.
So you've mentioned Quentin Blake, as obviously was a huge inspiration for you, I would imagine. Is there anybody else whose art do you have on your walls, apart from your own, obviously, as we can see in your studio?
I like all sorts. My great grandmother was an artist, and I've got quite a bit of her work on my wall. Very different to me. I follow an awful lot of people on Instagram that like me.
Right.
I cannot think of anybody's name right
now. I'll put you on the spot there. We'll just stick with Quentin then, shall we?
So I've always loved prints and printing. I love that feel. We went up to York a few months ago, and we found this lovely old bookshop which has got some really old, sort of late, like 1800 prints in, you know, lithograph prints, and you know, I'll fall in love with something new every day. So, and they're my most favourite thing at the moment. I can't think of the name of the printer. I'll have to. I'll have to Google it. I'm rubbish. I can never remember. You know, I'll have a new favourite thing every day. No, I don't have one single most favourite person, but apart from Quentin Blake.
Yeah, sure.
He's a bit of a hero.
So I was chatting to my mum yesterday, who I think you probably know is one of your big fans. She's always sharing your stuff on Facebook, and she said, "Oh, if you're speaking to Helen, you ask her for me." So what she wants to know is like when you start a painting of an animal, for example.
Yeah.
She realizes it's obviously like you make it your own with the, you add in the character and you make it your own. But do you work from a sketch? Do you work from a photograph, a picture, or is it all? Because I mean, obviously, as she says, she wouldn't know. She's not a painter, but she wouldn't know where to start if she was painting a fox or a dog or whatever. So is it all just from your head, or?
Yeah. Sometimes, so my character ones are normally they I'll have a photo in front of me, but I kind of have an image in my head that I want to do. The thing is with an animal and getting a character, there's certain aspects that you have to get right, or else it becomes something different. So so the eyes have to be in the right place, and the nose, you know, noses are different on different animals, and so you have to get, it's tiny little details like that you have to get right to make it what it is, or you know, get its essence. So my sort of quirky character work, I'll have a rough idea, you know, if they've got a long nose, you know, just so I get it right. But then if I'm doing slightly more realistic, like I've done the great big hares and the foxes, etc. I'll have a photo in front of me. I'll have a couple because it's very easy to get it wrong, and there'll always be someone. You know, I did a horse actually. I did a horse and put it on Instagram. And I got so many comments going, no, it's not like that. I knew I couldn't figure out. I just couldn't think what it was. So there's always someone.
There's
go, no, it doesn't go like that. Wrong.
Thanks for your Well, I think that probably you know, that's given us a nice insight into the way you work and kind of like where you come from and how you got to where you are today. Obviously selling clay prints as well is obviously that's where we come in and where we help you. And obviously
and your prints are fantastic. They really are. They're the best. You know, they're completely like flawless. And I sometimes I can't tell the difference between my original. No, it's fab.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously get a buzz out of working for you and for other artists as well. I mean, it is great just to be able to help you and other artists to sell the same piece of art time and time again, and to know that it is going to be, you know, as good, or obviously not as good as the original, but it's going to be pretty hard to distinguish the two.
Yeah, it's I've sort of my hair print. So I haven't got any left actually. So that's your first job.
Yeah, we'll book it for you.
I've got a little list.
Great.
That's the most popular at the moment. Hairs, you just can't go wrong at the moment with a hair.
No, you can't. You never know. Probably also things come in and out of fashion, but hairs are. We see lots of hairs of various shapes and sizes coming to the studio. Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Helen. Thanks for your time. It's been great to talk to you, and great in this lockdown period to actually see a client and get to speak to them for a little while. So thank you very much for your time. It's been great to speak.
You're very welcome.
And hopefully by the time this is out in the wide world, the lockdown will have finished and we'll be back to normal, and everyone will be getting on with their jobs again. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that everyone's well, and
that's the
we'll
main
get
thing.
back to normal.
That's the main thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for your time. That's been it's been great, and we'll hope to see you soon. Thanks,
You're
Helen.
welcome. Okay.
Thanks.
See you later.
Thanks. See you then. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.